Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Locker Room Talk Uncut. Drew Garrison, Chad Penrod in the locker room, bringing you the latest in sports. Today we're going to talk about the obvious biggest breaking news, the Michigan-Ohio State game. The game is canceled for this weekend, unfortunately. We're going to talk about Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns with a big win this last week and maybe a prove-it game for Baker Mayfield. We're going to get into whatever the hell happened in Miami when the Bengals and the Dolphins got on the field together. I guess you could call it a football game, and plenty more. So let's start off, man. The biggest news, the game is canceled. What was your initial reaction? I've already been running my mouth about it, so I want to hear yours.
I don't care. Listen, here, let me tell you what I mean by that. I care that Ohio State don't have the sixth game. That's the biggest thing in this whole ordeal. Is the Ohio State Buckeyes don't have their sixth game to get into the Big Ten championship and then to possibly make it into the playoffs. I don't know if you guys all seen my Facebook out there. I get that this is the game to a lot of people, but to me personally, just me, this is just another game. This isn't the game. This is just another game. I find no joy. I find no joy anymore in stomping your team every year. I would have found no joy into being 30-point favorites and stomping on the 2-4 John Harbaugh fucking Michigan Wolverines. I don't find any joy in that.
God damn, you called him John and everything.
Let me
it's
tell
Jim.
Jim, whatever. Jim, John, whatever. Let me tell you what I enjoy. I enjoy beating Clemson's. I enjoy beating
Ohio
Alabama's.
State's never beat Clemson.
Okay, well, either way, I would enjoy beating exactly why I would enjoy it.
Oh,
we never
fair.
beat them. We always beat you. I would enjoy beating Clemson's. I would enjoy beating Alabama's. I enjoy winning Big Ten championships. I enjoy making the playoffs, and I enjoy winning national championships. I don't enjoy beating up on a bum-ass team.
Then why do you always shit on me so hard every year?
Because it's you.
If you don't care.
It's you. Now let me tell you.
Ohio State fans should all care about
let me
that
tell
game.
you. Let me tell you what I'll miss the most. I'm going to miss not going to a hole in the wall bar and having and getting day drunk with great
Ziggy's
people.
is a great bar.
But I'm going to miss getting day drunk with great people. That to me is the tradition. Okay, and I know why we gather. We gather for the game, but this isn't the game to me, man. This is just it's a beat down every year.
Well, did Ohio State fans feel that way when John Cooper was the coach of Michigan?
What year was John Cooper the coach?
It was right before Tressel came in. I mean, there was a 10-year stretch where Ohio State couldn't beat Michigan.
So what I'm asking you is, before when Cooper was the coach, what year did Cooper leave?
I don't. What Tressel came in? 2001?
So I mean, you're talking to me as a 10, 11, 12-year-old kid.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying.
But, so this is me. I mean, we're not football fans the way we are now. It's and you have your own reasons for it being the game. And I'm sure to Michigan fans, a lot more Michigan, it is the game because you guys can't beat us. You always want to beat the team you can't beat. You always want to do it. And I get what you're saying, but for me in my adult life, for me being a Buckeye fan, this Ohio State playing Michigan don't mean shit to me because from what I can remember, from me being here 32 years, you guys can't beat us. You never can beat us.
2011. Check the fucking books.
I mean, okay, well, so you beat us one every 20 years.
Yeah, I got a picture of it.
So it just doesn't mean much to me. Like I said, I'm past that. I'm beyond giving a shit about Ohio State playing Michigan just for the fact that you guys can't beat us. It's just another game. Beating you guys this Saturday wouldn't have done shit. I would rather, if we can make it happen, I'd rather go play Indiana, who gave us a challenge.
Well, you guys would.
I'd rather
Indiana
go play
now.
Texas A&M.
I know what's happening.
Coastal Carolina.
I know what's happening.
Or whoever.
I know who you're going to play.
But beating you guys who just lost to fucking 0-4 Penn State doesn't do anything to make me aroused.
Well, that I just fundamentally disagree with that because of what the game is.
That's okay.
And I think most Ohio State fans, they have already today asserted themselves as just the worst college football fans in the world. Just kind of like how you feel about Bengals fans, I feel about Ohio State fans.
Those fans that are listen, real quick, and I'm gonna let you talk. Those fans that do nothing but sit there and talk to you on your Facebook today, those are all Bengals fans, right?
I'd have to look through.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Those are all Bengals fans. Now you know how I feel.
Well, I know Charlie, our good old Big Rig, he said "come on" about 4,000 times. I said, if you say "come on" a couple more times, maybe that'll make it true. I don't know their pro affiliation. There's probably mostly Bengals fans. Most Ohio State fans are also Bengals fans. I just find it it's just like, oh, well, Michigan was just so scared, but Ohio State canceled a game against Illinois. Gene Smith made the decision to cancel. So can I say Ohio State was scared of Lovie Smith in Illinois? No. I guess I can see how it looks, but nobody will actually know that they faked 15 COVID cases and all the close contacts that had to be quarantined from it by the Big Ten's rules. And that's what I was saying earlier. Blame the Big Ten more than anybody.
This is the Big Ten's fault.
Because it's just, everyone's like, well, it was 2 weeks. Ohio State played a game without, starters. Why can't Michigan? Well, yeah, but we don't know the details of how many close contacts there were. If there's 15 guys and they're among 5 position groups, let's say, and they had practice, there's how many guys in a position group, close contact, all that shit. We don't know. But Ohio State coach had a game last week without Ryan Day. So can I just say, Ryan Day's a bitch? He was too scared to coach the game? No. The blame is not on Michigan here. It's just the easy, I'm going to make a Facebook post and shit on Michigan, thing to do. But at the end of the day, LSU and Alabama's a rivalry game. Nobody said because that game got postponed. Nobody said that whichever team had the outbreak, I don't even remember, I think it was LSU, was scared. They were just like, oh, well, it's COVID, okay. And then it got rescheduled and they played it. But now, since the Big Ten has put Michigan, Ohio State, and any other team in the Big Ten in this position to where that game was supposed to be Saturday, a week away from the conference championship, that's the Big Ten's fault. It's not Michigan's fault. I just have a very hard time believing that a major college football program, as bad of a season as they're having, would fake a COVID outbreak to not play a football game. And they say, well, they knew that it would keep Ohio State out. Well, they wouldn't, because there's a path for Ohio State to get in still. The Big Ten has talked about changing the rule. I would say they were inclined to do it. They stand to have more money made and more popularity made and a better case made for their conference if Ohio State can win the conference championship and get into the college football playoff. Do you think that the Big Ten would rather fucking Indiana or Northwestern win the Big Ten title? No. No. They want that. But there is a rule. Like a team like Purdue, their game was canceled because their opponent had COVID. In the Big Ten's rule, and I'm sure Michigan was aware of this, I'm sure they weren't oblivious to this, and this is going to be the hole in their big giant conspiracy to keep the Buckeyes out with the biological warfare and all this other dumb shit these people are trying to say. If there is another team that can't play because their opponent had a COVID outbreak, so now Ohio State wasn't the problem, it was Michigan. Purdue was supposed to play, I can't remember. They had a COVID outbreak, so Purdue's not the reason. Ohio State could play Purdue Saturday.
Yeah, I mean,
get their 6th game, go to the Big Ten championship, and be fine. Or they could pull a BYU. They could call Coastal Carolina.
If they'll let them go outside of the Big Ten.
Well, that's on the conference too. Right, yes, because BYU.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with everything you said. This isn't a Michigan's fault. Now, would it surprise me if fucking Jim Harbaugh didn't want to play this game? Fuck no.
Well, I don't think it matters because he's got a 3-year contract extension sitting on the table right now, waiting for him to sign it. That it just hasn't come out like.
You know that for sure?
Yeah, it came out before the game was canceled.
So, then, yeah, I mean...
I'll get into that in a minute.
I mean, it would make sense for him to say, okay, well, let's try and fuck Ohio State because, I mean, he can't beat them. To me, it would make sense.
But he can't make that call.
But, yeah, to me, he don't have the power to make that call.
At all.
None of this even matters. This brings me back to my point. If it's even Purdue, if Ohio State can play Purdue, the biggest problem here is Ohio State needs to get their 6th game. That's it. That is the only problem here. That is the elephant in the room. It's not Ohio State, Michigan. You probably know what the fuck was going to happen. When I walked in this house where we're at, you said you didn't even want to watch the game. Ohio State is 30-point favorites, and they were.
Wait, what did I say? I didn't want to watch the game.
Well, you just said it was going to be a shit show, and you didn't care to watch the game.
Well, I mean, I knew we were going to lose, but I always want it to be played. It's like I said last week. I'd rather get my ass whooped than turn and run away. But I just don't think that Michigan actually turned and ran away.
No, I don't.
I just don't think it's possible.
I don't
think they stood to make money off
like
of
that.
this.
Like that to me. Like I'm not one of those fans you're talking about. I don't because
there's so many of them.
I don't care. As long as we get the game in, it doesn't matter who we play. As long as Ohio State, even if you want to go as far as long, I don't care about winning another fucking Big Ten championship. We all know who the best Big Ten team is. It's Ohio State.
It's clearly Indiana.
Let's fucking get to the playoffs. I want to make the playoffs and a chance at a national championship. I don't give a fuck to play Michigan. I don't give a fuck to go play. Who would it even be? Northwestern in the Big Ten championship? I mean, I don't give a shit to play that game. I don't care to be called Big Ten champions once again. That's like that happens every year. Like let's go play the Alabamas, the Clemsons, and the Notre Dames, and let's see who the best fucking team in the nation is. That's what I care about.
You know who Ohio State's going to play Saturday, right? They will play Saturday.
I think they play Saturday too.
Tulsa had to cancel the game with UC because Tulsa has COVID issues.
I would love
They're
to
in the
see.
same state.
I would love to see
number
that.
4, number 7.
I would love to see that.
I think it's very doable.
And not only that, that might be a way for UC to be like, okay, now if we win this, now we can get in the playoffs because I don't see them getting in. I don't see UC getting in to the college
probably
playoffs.
Not. As it stands right now.
I think that the committee is going to put in a 5-win Ohio State team over UC.
But see, a 5-win team,
Yeah,
if they don't get another game?
I do.
With their only really good win being close, and that's not to take away from Indiana. But
I think
UC's got I think they'll right now they have 10 wins.
I don't think
double the wins of Ohio State.
I don't think it matters. I mean,
I think it might.
I don't. But I think UC and fucking Luke Fickell might know. Hey, this could be our chance to get in because obviously Florida's going to lose to Bama.
Yeah.
Texas A&M don't have a game. But so would Texas A&M play Bama? How's that work with A&M and Florida? And do you have any idea?
I think the SEC championship's already set. It's Bama, Florida.
Okay, so A&M at 5.
Yeah, I don't.
So that's what I mean. If
that is weird.
Yeah, so if Ohio State wants to go play, like I said, Texas A&M, go play a SEC team, go play Texas A&M. Fuck, like you said, I'm totally down for Ohio State UC, but I'm okay with Ohio. I'm okay with Ohio State UC. I'm okay with Ohio State Purdue, Ohio State Texas A&M, Ohio State Indiana again, as long as it gives them a 6th game.
I want them to get in so they can get beat and I can talk shit just like everybody does to me every time the Bengals lose. But
fuck, you've gotten a lot of shit talked to you this year then.
No shit. Have you logged on to my Facebook? Dude, I'm thinking about retiring from talking sports on the internet, and you're going to have to listen to this shit to get my takes because people are fucking ridiculous, dude. It's like, well, Michigan's scared, and I know it because I own 18 red hooded sweatshirts, and I said so. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you don't – everybody's like, no, I know why because they were scared. I know why. I know why. Like, what the fuck do you know, man? You work a regular-ass job just like I do.
I mean,
you don't know shit more than I know.
I'm glad you see it now because I just got told last night that Carson Wentz is better than Baker Mayfield.
Well, that's
by one of your Bengals friends.
I mean that's a bad take.
I mean this is the shit we deal with, man.
I mean, it's just I don't know, man. It's just ridiculous to think that Michigan, as bad of a season as they're having, would intentionally miss out on the biggest game. I mean, it might not mean much to you because they've won all the last however many years. That's fine, but it matters to the players at Ohio State. There's a countdown clock in those facilities.
I get that. But I've never been to Ohio State. Obviously I didn't go to school there. I get when we had your dad on why the game means so much and me, being part of Woody. It's
dude when he called
he's
me
nothing
today,
but immune to it. Like
when he called me today, dude, I don't know if I've ever heard him that sad.
Yeah,
like, I could hear it in his voice.
But like, it'll mean a lot more if Michigan can get back to being the Michigan of old, like when it's Ohio State 3, Michigan 4. Or you know what I'm saying, or you know what I'm saying, or
well, that happened
Ohio
and we
State
got
2, or Michigan 2, Ohio State 5. It don't matter. Like it'll mean more when it matters, and it hasn't mattered for a long time, for many of years. The game hasn't mattered one way or the other.
It just mattered a few years ago. They were 2-3.
All the game really matters right now is if Michigan can beat Ohio State and knock them out of the playoffs. That's all it's been for fucking 10 years.
It just mattered not too long ago, man. We were 2-3 and went into triple overtime, and JT was fucking short.
Oh, jeez.
But to this Jim Harbaugh contract extension, this is on the table. People don't know it, but
How do you know this?
Because I follow the right people on Michigan that follow Michigan.
You have some kind of insider?
I don't have any insider. I haven't personally spoken to these people, but I just know who to follow about
You're
what.
like Sir Yacht right now.
I'm going to call my shot. There is a contract extension on the table for Jim Harbaugh for 3 years. The reason that they're doing it is because obviously they want to keep him if he chooses to. So the way the deal sits now, he's got a pretty significant pay cut, which, I mean, he shouldn't be getting another contract. I don't want anybody to take this as me agreeing with this.
Hold on. Are you about to back this idea right now?
No.
Okay,
I'm
continue
not.
then.
I'm just telling you what it is.
Okay.
I do not support this whatsoever. I'm just telling you what it is. So there's a 3-year deal on the table. It's a pretty sizable pay cut from the $7.5 million he makes now. It's based on hiring certain top-level staff members. I guess there's probably a list of guys that Michigan deems worthy to come in and retool the assistant coaches. And the way that it sits right now is Harbaugh has the opportunity to sign it, negotiate further, or leave it and go back to one of these 5 NFL teams that are apparently have interest in him for a head coaching job next year. That is the contract situation, and the reason they're doing it is for recruiting. They want there's a year left on Harbaugh's deal, but apparently the school's okay with keeping him, which is a terrible fucking idea, but the school is okay with keeping him, so they want to lock him up now for recruiting purposes because it is easy to recruit a guy if you got 4 years left on your contract rather than 1. That's just a fact of college football. If they think the coach is recruiting them is going to be gone in a year, it's going to hurt them. So they're doing it that way. It's a complete fucking joke that he's got the option to keep this job or not. It's despicable, not only with the Ohio State record, but just with the record this year in total, and the fact that Michigan is now going to have a winless season at home for the first time ever. I don't care if it's a COVID season or not. Beat fucking Michigan State right after you beat fucking Minnesota, who was supposed to be good. So that's where it stands at Michigan. And Ohio State fans will be happy as hell to hear that because they'd love him to stick around.
Well, yeah, but let me ask you this. Your girlfriend drinks wine, right?
Yeah, from time to time.
Does she still have that bottle upstairs?
Whoa.
The bottle of wine that she had that we had the other, what is it?
Yeah. The one
she
you
still have that wine upstairs?
No, it's gone.
I was going to say, because we should probably pop a bottle and celebrate the fact that Jim Harbaugh is going to sign an extension at Michigan. You
can't pop champagne if you don't care.
I mean, I don't care. I'm just saying. I mean, you guys are going to be, what are you guys, 2-4 right now? It means you're going to be worthless another 2 years. You guys ain't going to get no fucking recruits. Nobody wants to go there.
That's the problem, though. Michigan still gets damn good recruiting classes, so where's the issue? I think it's the fucking coaching staff. I mean, if you look at Michigan's class rankings, they're up there. They're not blowing people out of the water like Ohio State has had classes that do it. I think next year's Ohio State class has the chance to be like the highest rated recruiting class ever or some shit. Yeah. They're not on that level, don't get me wrong, but they get damn good recruits. So where's the fucking problem?
It's
the coaching staff.
Like, signing Harbaugh to an extension is for 3 more years it could possibly kill Michigan. I mean,
if Harbaugh leaves, it will be on his own.
I mean, this is bad. I mean, you're never going to be on the level of the Ohio State, Clemson, and Alabama with Harbaugh there. I mean, kids all over the world. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you can only go to Michigan, obviously you're gonna take a scholarship to Michigan.
Hey, if your son gets a scholarship to Michigan and nowhere else, you're gonna be saying "Go Blue" here in about 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, unless he gets a fucking scholarship to fucking UC, and I'll say, hey, go there instead of there.
That might be better shit.
It's just bad. It's just. And I hate that I've gotten to the point where I feel this way, but it's just crazy for me. Like, I'm going to miss, like I said, I'm going to miss gathering and getting day drunk with all you guys and all that. But I'm not going to miss the game. We're not missing anything.
I am, just because it's probably like the biggest day of the year for my dad and I. It's like bigger than Christmas to us. And now I'm just.
Well, I mean, you were going to see Ohio State. I mean, you're probably going to see somewhere around 50 something to fucking.
I called in. I talked to Caveman Media. I called into their podcast last night because they wanted a Michigan fans take, so I gave them a call. I predicted 52-17 Ohio State when I thought the game was still happening. Yesterday, I was actually confident that the game was going to be played.
Yeah.
They got limited workouts in yesterday. They were on track for the same kind of schedule that Ohio State was on last week when they played Michigan State. But the tests that came back, I guess, today that were administered yesterday, there were more positives is what they're saying. So it wasn't able to happen. But, yeah, I predicted like a 52-17 type game. Like I knew what it was going to be. I just still wanted it to happen. It's like I said, it's just kind of like a pride thing. I'd rather you beat the shit out of me than me like turn around and run away from you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, and I don't really think that they turned and ran. I've posted some shit joking about it a couple weeks ago. The school's going to lose money. The conference is going to lose money. Nobody looks good here. I just don't think that they would take that and use it as their reasoning to try to keep Ohio State out because. That rule is in place. It's in the language that they put together to start the season from the Big Ten commissioners and all of that. So Michigan knew that. It's not like, oh, shit, our plan didn't work because they're allowed to play somebody else. Like, no. I just think that it happened at a bad time, and now Ohio State fans are just going to be like, grrr, like, oh, go Bucks, you guys are such pussies. But like at the end of the day, that's just not the case.
So that's where we're at on
Ohio State, UC. It's going to happen Saturday. They're in the same state. The Big Ten's going to allow it because they want their poster child in the conference championship and in the college football playoff. You heard it here first. Well, I heard it from Sean Fraley. He commented on my Facebook post and said it, but I'm going to fucking run with it like it was my idea. Ohio State, Cincinnati, ABC, 8:00 Saturday night. If I'm right, somebody owes me $20.
I don't think it happens. It's Tuesday. 4:45. I do think Ohio State finds an opponent. I don't think it's UC. I don't think it's A&M. I think we're looking at maybe a Purdue, maybe an Indiana.
It's definitely not A&M. The Big Ten will let them play Purdue. They're in the same conference. But I think the Big Ten is going to find a way to let them play UC because, A, it's a quality win for them.
Yeah,
B,
that, to me, that's the best matchup.
Yeah, they still like Luke Fickell. I think that'd be great. That'd be an entertaining ass game to watch. That might be a better game to watch than Michigan Ohio State would have been anyway.
Well, it will 1,000% be a better game to watch than Ohio State Michigan. I think that is the best idea. I hope it happens. I don't think it happens, but we'll see. So Ohio State trying to find an opponent for Saturday, or hopefully the Big Ten botches their dumbass idea of you have to have six games to get into the Big Ten championship. So we'll see there. Let's take this to the NFL, man. Let's talk about your Bengals for a minute. They lose 19-7 to Tua and the Dolphins in a big brawl. Fucking popped off, man. We were at my house having some wings and watching some football. And
hey, by the way, the homemade wing batter you made, everything from the wing to scratch, I give you credit on that.
I appreciate that. But so man, what we were really, you weren't locked into this game. Obviously, you're ready for, you're where I usually am. So you're looking at mock drafts now. You're looking at available free agents coming out.
I'm just hoping for losses.
Yeah, right. You're wanting to lose. I was actually rooting for the Bengals. You weren't, because you want the tackle out of Oregon. And you didn't really care to watch Brandon Allen. But we look up, and you're like, what the fuck? There's a big brawl, and everybody's out in the middle of the field.
Well, not everybody. Dude, I saw another pic. AJ Green was like 60 yards away.
That's crazy. So tell them about the picture you're talking about. Because I showed you, and then you fucking ran with it, because you're the Bengals fan.
Yeah. So, you sent me this, and I didn't notice it watching the game.
I didn't either.
But this fight's breaking out. We got the whole team on the field just going at it with Dolphins players, like a Bengals coach got punched and all kinds of shit. But if you look at this picture, and most of the people that listen to this probably saw me post it already, the entire offensive line is sitting on the bench. Just sitting there. Like one guy's got his mask on. You can see like Bobby Hart turning and talking to the other guy. Like, I want to know what the fuck Bobby Hart was saying after that play where he just like didn't move his hands on a block.
That was terrible.
But so you see that, and then like down the field on the sideline, there's AJ Green like 50 yards away, just like kind of watching. And I mean, just the whole team's fighting. The whole team's just really, really getting into it, and the offensive line's just not protecting anybody.
Yeah, the meme was the best because it's like, well, look, there's a brawl, and here's the Bengals offensive lineman not protecting anybody, doing as they normally do. So that was funny. So let's talk about the hit though. Mike Thomas. I don't know how to say the dude's first name, but his last name's Grant, a little speedster, number 19 for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I saw him running in the game. I was like, dude, that guy's fast as shit. Who is that?
That's why I got him on Madden, bro. Did you see? He's like 95 speed on there. But but he hits him, but he hits his shoulder into his stomach. I didn't think it was a bad hit.
Well, there was 2 hits
okay.
from Mike Thomas on the same guy.
So tell me what's going on here, because I've only seen the one.
Well, the first hit was, I think, 5 minutes or so left in the third quarter. And as soon as the ball hit Grant, like in the chest area where you would catch a punt, Thomas fucking lit him up.
Mm.
It was a hard hit. He didn't hit him with his helmet. He didn't hit Grant in the helmet. He put it right on his body and blew his shit up and got flagged for it. Not a flag. There shouldn't have been a flag on that play at all. Grant should have called a fair catch.
Right.
If anything, the burden of calling a fair catch is on him. The burden of making sure that you don't get knocked out or beat up is on you as the returner. He didn't do it. So whatever. I thought it was a bullshit flag, but okay, you move on. Well, then 11:54 in the third. I only remember that because there was 11 minutes and 54 seconds left in this game in the fourth quarter for like 25 minutes while they tried to figure all this shit out. Williams blows his ass up again. Another hit that's not dirty, but it did deserve a flag because he just got there like half a second early. Mm-hmm. He hit him before he got the ball. And if you watch it in real time, it was not far off at all, because that's the one you watched and you're like, okay, what's wrong with it?
Right.
I'm like, well, he was early. You're like, okay, so he's flagged for a kick catch interference and that's it. But then, dude, like Brian Flores is ready to fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm watching now, and he's out in the middle of the field.
I don't know who he's going at, but
hopefully Zach Taylor.
I'll tell you what, man, a Brian Flores-Zach Taylor fight is going to be very, very fast.
Yeah.
But that hit, I watched it over and over and over. They were showing it on ESPN again yesterday, too, and I'm just like, he should have only been flagged once for hitting him early, but it wasn't a dirty hit. If you don't call a fair catch and you're just sitting there, you're a lame duck, and they're like, well, he's defenseless. Yeah, he is defenseless, but it wasn't a dirty hit on a defenseless receiver. He didn't hit him in the head. He hit him in the chest and stomach.
And he didn't hit him in his kneecaps, his
Nothing.
legs. Like, the dude was right in his stomach.
Yeah, so call a fair catch and you don't have to worry about it. Mm-hmm. And then the second one's like, yeah, he got there early, which happens a lot. It's not dirty.
Right.
He just got hit hard and they were pissed about it. And then I'm like, Brian Flores, I used to like him, but he's a fucking idiot. But then I realized I'd rather have my coach on the field ready to fight for my team than my whole offensive line sitting back drinking Gatorade while the fight's breaking out.
Absolutely.
So that was, I don't know, man. It was something that just really baffled me to see that.
Miami's defense is nice. Their offense just isn't. They're never. I don't think like
Tua's not good. He had good numbers, but Tua's not good.
They still play. I think they still play the Bills, the Patriots, the Raiders. Like, they're going to go against some offensive teams, and there's no way Tua's going to be able to keep up. The offense just isn't. Their offense just isn't
not
good
with Tua.
Right now. Their offense, no. Yeah,
it's better with Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, it is. And
I've been saying Tua wasn't going to be the guy.
You've been saying I don't see. I said I didn't think he was going to be great, but I thought he was going to be good. I don't think we've seen enough yet. Obviously, he's only a couple games.
No,
in.
it's just going how I expected it to go.
But obviously, I will admit that the team is a lot better, in my opinion, with Fitzpatrick. I mean, the receivers are getting the ball and all. I mean, Tua just doesn't have a great arm right now, man. I'm starting to lean with you a little bit, honestly. I don't know how good he's going to be. I mean, you see some of these quarterbacks come right in, like your Herberts and Burrows, and just start lighting the joint up, and he's just not doing that. And he has, some good weapons there. Yeah,
he's got a lot of good weapons. And on the fight, I have permission here from Pac-Man Jones, the former Bengals corner. He posts his thoughts about the Bengals all the time after the game. He did it today. I actually sent him a message. I said, "Can I share this on my podcast?" And he said, "Yeah, just tag me." So I want to play to you what he said about the game. And I do want to point out that the language that you used in here is his and his only, not ours. But I'm going to give you a former Bengals player, Pac-Man Jones, thoughts on how this game went, and we can talk about that afterwards because I think it's pretty damn funny.
Yes, sir. Man, I know y'all been waiting for my recap of the game. I missed y'all last week, too, because the shit was so bad the week before. It wasn't even no use for me saying that. But this week, we got some shit in the game. All right, let's start off with the fight. You niggas off the bench and then nobody get to fight but Sean. Seems like you guys have nothing to play for. You might as well fight. That's what I would have did. But it show you like who the dogs over there. Out of all y'all over there, only person goddamn get kicked out the game. Sean the dog. He ain't like the rest of y'all, and it's sad what he going through. Special team, you get an F- again this week. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, come on, man. And I still think we need to let goddamn what's his name get his ass back there and get a couple snaps. Because he's still doing the same shit, 5-step drop back. Hey, dumbass, don't you know how to screen? You know how to do some...
So he's just going on and on, man. He just doesn't want to hear
I
it.
just don't understand it. We don't got no pressure. We playing catch, tackle. Gino's still in the zero technique. Still think we should fire all the coaches.
He wants them all gone. So he just wants all the coaches out, everybody taken out.
And then the special team, we hitting people early before the ball get there.
I disagree with that.
Darren, you teaching this? I know you ain't teaching this, Darren. Pinky gonna be turning over in his grave and you doing this. Come on, man. This is getting ridiculous, man. At some point, you know, if you keep doing the same thing, you know what they call that, right? Okay. And yeah. Everybody who get out this motherfucker is balling. Drake, balling.
Drake Patrick.
Carlos, balling.
Dunlap.
Guess what? Even Donald got picked back up. Balling. Go shit. Vontaze when he wasn't balling. So it ain't the motherfucking players. Y'all keep trying to get rid of. Get rid of the goddamn coach. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Crazy as hell, man. What the hell is wrong with y'all? What's up gonna do? Give him another first round pick? A top 10 pick? Get him hurt too? What you gonna do? We gonna get a receiver? You gonna throw him the slant? And the bad part about it, shit, they spared y'all, boy. If one of y'all would have hit me like that on a punt return, they'd have I would have definitely been kicked out the game.
We believe him.
Yeah, we believe that.
And y'all, boy, I just don't get it. I get it. If y'all could just tell me what is the potential goal of what the coaches is doing this year, are you trying to teach your guys the scheme, or you got a new scheme, or you was trying to see that this work, or what? Or you trying to end Gino's career, maybe AJ career. You already ended the quarterback. I'm just trying to figure out what is the method of what are we doing right now. It seems to me like we will be packing it up and get ready for next year and not trying to get nobody hurt. Just let me know, man. I'm confused as a motherfucker over here as a Bengals fan. I'm confused. I just thought about it. Darren don't give a fuck why they play anyway. Darren gonna be here. So all you coaches that don't think that the special team coach gonna be here, y'all are fools. They gonna fire the rest of you nigga ass. The rest of y'all, pew! I'm trying to tell you now.
That's my favorite part of the whole thing. The pew. As a Bengals fan, that's all I have to look forward to is them shit in the bed and what kind of crazy shit Pac-Man's going to say on it. I'm going to get him on this show eventually, but he was messaging me back today. He said, "Go ahead and use it. Just tag me." That's a former player, so he's telling you what's going on.
And in my opinion, he's got a point.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he's fucking. Those are all valid points. I mean,
think so too.
He's talking about he had been thrown out of the game. Like, what the hell else you got to play for? You know, nobody's really sticking up for themselves. And, he's right when he says, what are they going to do now? Just let fucking Gino and AJ sit there and rot in Cincinnati because Dunlap left and Drake Kirkpatrick left. And now they're all playing good.
Very well.
You know, and I've been saying it for 2 years. What the fuck? You signed the wrong guy. You signed the wrong guy. This is like when the Cardinals signed who was it? Ray Horton, and then like when the Browns made the Freddie Kitchens. All right, eat the money. You got to eat the money, Mike. But you got to go find a fucking coach. And what you have right now, this isn't it. There is so many, and I don't want to jump into this real quick, but there is so many good coaches out here. Did you just watch what Brian Daboll's done with fucking Josh Allen down in Buffalo?
I've seen a lot of it.
I mean, Josh Allen. If I'm starting a franchise right now, age and all, so I'm not talking about the Bradys and the Brees. If I'm starting a franchise right now, I'm going with the quarterback. I'm going obviously Pat Mahomes 1, Russell Wilson 2, but Josh Allen 3. Josh Allen is fucking balling, and not only that, you got Eric Bieniemy out there who's ready to coach. He's ready to go. You gotta go get one of these Brian Dayball's. You gotta fucking take him a blank check, or Eric Bieniemy, and you gotta pair this up. You gotta pair them up with Joe Burrow. If you want Joe Burrow to be successful, you have got to leave Zach Taylor after this year. He's got to go.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering. So Baker's rookie year played damn good, and then he was very involved in the head coaching decision. Like, he wanted to keep Freddie Kitchens too.
Oh yeah, I mean, who didn't?
So,
I mean, fans, players.
But my question, just using that as an example, I wonder how much Burrow's going to have to do with, does Taylor stay? Does Taylor go? And then if he does go, I wonder how much say the Bengals are going to give Burrow in selecting his new head coach.
I'm not sure Burrow's going to have much of a say. This is the fucking Mike Brown show, it feels like.
I
mean, it is the show. It's his team, but
yeah, and a lot of the stuff has been done by his daughter and her husband, but nothing gets done without his signature. So he's still the ultimate decision maker. He's like fucking 86 years old. Like, I don't, whatever. But I just wonder. And I told you this. We were in a group chat last night, and I said, yeah, I could give you my top 5 guys that I think should replace Zach Taylor next year. I could hand you that list, and then I could bet you $100 that they're not coaching the Bengals next year.
It's going to be Zach Taylor next year.
I think so, which is just as bad, if not
terrible,
worse, than Michigan keeping Harbaugh. But even if they were to fire him, I don't think it's going to be a Brian Daboll. I don't think it's going to be a Josh McDaniels. I don't think it's going to be an Eric Bieniemy. I just don't think that they're going to pay the money or give up the control that it's going to take to get a guy like that.
I mean, look, all they have to do is look up north. Look what Kevin Stefanski has done with the same fucking team Freddie Kitchens had. The same fucking team. And I don't care about strength of schedule. And I don't care because we just beat a fucking damn good team. Fuck, we smacked them in the first half. We'll get there in a minute. But look what the coach, quarterback, when they're grooving together and they're on the same page, look what it does. That's all it takes, and you have to 100%. You have to go get somebody for Joe Burrow, not named Zach Taylor.
What scares me is I think Joe Burrow really likes Zach Taylor. Like
everybody's gonna, when you get your way, it is, but. And I actually wanted to shout out our buddy Alan Larrick, who said, the Bengals need to go get an older coach that don't take no bullshit, that's been around the game, and will put his foot up a player's ass.
Yeah, they absolutely do. But to get guys like that, the organization has to give up a certain level of control. And I just don't think that they will. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. A lot of the times when I talk about what the Bengals are going to do, and it's not like what everybody else thinks they're going to do, it's not because I think that I'm going to agree with what the Bengals are doing. I'm just telling you of 29 years of my life watching how the Bengals are run. That's just what it is. I don't like it any more than the next guy. The only way that unless there is some crazy dramatic change, and I will say maybe it's not out of the realm of possibility. Mike Brown spent $150 million last year in the offseason. I'll give him that. Okay, you give Taylor a pass his first year, whatever. You spend some money. Okay, everybody's like, holy shit, the Bengals spent $150 million this offseason. What the hell? So maybe there is a change, but history makes me believe that the only way the Bengals get a great coach, a truly great head coach, the way that they operate is going to be some young guy like Zach Taylor was, that you hit a diamond in the rough. You hire the guy, and it turns out that he's just a fucking genius coaching, kind of a lot like McVay in L.A., and McVay is the one that got Taylor the job. I just think that's the only way the Bengals really get one of those coaches that are top quality, is because it's a young, unproven guy that just turns out to be that damn good. Mm-hmm. Unless they change the way that they operate, which I hope that they do, I just don't. That's what the reality you have to live in as a Bengals fan is. Well, we're not going to go get a guy that's proven, that's won, that can be stern and all that. No, because it's going to be this young guy, and Taylor's trying to he's going to build the culture, and it's going to be the communication, and all we've seen is a fucking losing, shitty culture and bad communication. The only way that the Bengals are going to get a great coach the way that we have seen them operate historically is to find some young, cheap guy like Zach Taylor, and he just accidentally turns out to be the next Sean McVay.
I'm putting my stamp on it right now. The Bengals will never win with Zach Taylor.
No, I completely agree with that. And I
won't.
told you guys last night, I think he's the coach next year. I completely disagree with it.
And it just that sucks for fans like you that are real big into this shit. And that sucks for a player like Joe Burrow too. And and we've talked about this before. Like, it makes you want to be a player like a Trevor Lawrence who just watched the fucking Jets lose on purpose to get him. Purposely lose a ball game. I mean, it's it just be because the coaching is just that bad. I mean,
4 seconds left. They're going deep.
I think if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I'm doing it. I'm pulling the Eli Manning. I'm not going there. I can't.
Well, people are saying that Lawrence should return to Clemson. That is not the case at all.
I think I would return to Clemson if if fucking New York gets the first pick.
No, take a year off and just work out. You think it's going to hurt his draft stock?
I don't know, man.
I wouldn't go play free again and risk blowing my knee out.
Yeah, that's true too. But I would be scared to go to the Jets.
I'd stay at home and work out for a year. Post some videos on Instagram of me throwing
not
footballs.
Enter the draft. Yeah, how you want to do it? Yeah, I mean,
and just wait for for next year.
I guess the problem there comes. All right, and then will he be the first round pick in the next draft? Or, and how much money will he lose? Because we're talking millions.
I don't think he could hurt his draft stock one bit.
Yeah, you might. I mean, you might be right because I think he's the best draft prospect since Andrew Luck. So
now there's a rumor that Bill Cowher may be interested in the Jets job.
See, well, that's different. But But you don't go there not knowing
with Gase.
What the fuck's going on there.
But I was talking. I can't remember even who brought it up to him. I was talking to him last night, and we can touch on that for a second. I think Cowher might have been out of it too long. And it's hard to doubt his resume. It's hard to doubt, what he's done.
I think Bill Cowher's a good coach, man.
I think he's a great coach, but it's just like, does that?
He has a nice gig, though. I don't know.
Yeah, like I feel like he gets brought up every few years and he never does. But
if the Bengals get a Bill Cowher, you fucking go get Bill Cowher.
Oh, he would never do that just after all those years in Pittsburgh.
But
yeah, I would take it. Sign me up. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just very frustrating. But unless the Bengals find the next Sean McVay on accident, they're probably just not ever going to have that good of a coach. I don't know, man. Was Marvin Lewis as good as it got? I mean, he had a couple division championships, a couple playoff. I mean, he didn't.
Marvin's better than Zach Taylor. I'm just going to say that right now.
I demanded change, man. I wanted Marvin gone so bad, and look what I got. It's like. That's like having like a wife, right? Like, I feel like we were married to Marvin Lewis, and it's like she wasn't the best looking, but she cooked pretty good, and it was all right. But then like you go mess with the young chick, and you decide that I'm going to leave my wife for the young girl, and it's going to be great. And Zach Taylor is the young girl, but like 3 months in, you realize like she can't fucking cook. She's bad with money. The house is a mess, and we're just like, oh well, we wanted Marvin gone so bad, and now we got this fucking guy. So yeah, I'll continue to bitch about them for the rest of the year, but I want to move on to a topic where you may have the most pleasant tone that we've heard you on these microphones, and we're coming up on a year of doing this podcast, by the way, but. The Cleveland Browns are 9-3. Baker Mayfield, 4 touchdowns in the first half.
Down to swagger.
And the Cleveland Browns, in my opinion, are all but guaranteed a playoff spot. But with the Pittsburgh loss that we can touch on in a minute, they're not out of it for the AFC North. Because I think we agree that Pittsburgh may lose next week.
The Browns can't beat a good team is what I was told.
Well, I mean, the Titans did lose to the Bengals, though.
That don't matter. 8-3, 8-3 teams. We both know the Titans are good. You Bengals fans got to stop acting like you got to stop taking away from your best win in 2 years. You're right when you say they can't get a pass rush, but they couldn't get a pass rush on Burrow, so they're not going to get it on Baker either, who has a better line. But like you said, 4 touchdowns in the first half, and they said Baker cannot beat above 500 teams. They said the Browns can't beat good teams. They said the Browns are pretenders. And the Browns at halftime in Nashville was up 38-7. Not one time the whole entire first half did they punt. And this isn't me being a Homer Browns fan. I don't care what happened in the second half. When you're up by 31 points in the second half, your clock's your best friend and you're trying to kill it.
Well, let me I'm going to interject here just because Browns fans have like an interesting relationship with Colin Cowherd because he's been critical of Baker.
Yeah.
But he said after that game, he said if the Steelers were up 31, was it 31-7, 38-7?
38-7.
Either way, it's a big ass lead. And he said, and the Steelers come out in the second half, they know what to do. They're good. They put it away. The Patriots
they've been
come
there
out,
100
they put it away.
times.
But he's not giving the Brown shit. He's like, they've never been there. They didn't know what to do.
That's a good point.
And that's fine, yeah.
No, we're not normally there. It's the same way as the Dallas game.
But the second half of that game, it doesn't really matter.
31. The chances of them coming back are
because
got to be less than 1%.
All the years I've watched the Browns, I've seen the Browns be the guys with 7.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
so it's like I'm not going to give them shit because
that was a franchise record.
They don't know how to be there.
No. You're.
So I agree with him on that.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, that's 38 points in the first half was a franchise record for the Browns.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
And me and you's had this conversation because me and you watch a lot of football together. I say you can tell how good of a game Baker's going to have by his first 3 throws.
Yeah, you have.
And I've showed you numerous times. I'm like, look, second throw there, high. Third throw, high. He's a high a lot. That was not the case on Sunday, man. When I mean that right there, that was the biggest game Baker's ever played in, and that was the best game Baker's played. So, and we knew from Oklahoma that he's going to compete. We at least we knew that in Oklahoma. We knew when he was the quarterback of Oklahoma. But he thrives under those big moments. And he did not disappoint. Now, and I'm going to be the first to admit, just weeks ago, after a big loss to I want to say Pittsburgh, I was low key out on Baker.
We can play the episode back.
And but something strange happened. Well, not necessarily strange, but me and you say this is weird. Odell Beckham Jr. goes down, tears his ACL, and since then, Baker has played fucking great.
So
fantastic ball. I mean, and we're starting since the second half of that Bengals game that Odell Beckham Jr. went down.
Yeah, and it was against the Bengals, so you're welcome.
Yeah, but so since that second half, everybody listens to Pro Football Focus and takes their words for it. Since that second half, Baker Mayfield's passing grade is 3rd, only behind Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
He since then, Baker Mayfield has thrown 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
He hasn't thrown a pick since that game?
He has not thrown a pick since that game. Baker Mayfield has the NFL lead right now, most passing attempts without an interception. This is the same guy we call Baker the turnover maker. That's
he
what
was
they say, right?
Pissed when he fumbled that
game.
It didn't really matter.
He's trying to kill all the turnovers. Yeah. I don't know what the deal is with Odell. And now, don't get me wrong, 3 of those games, and the Browns are a run-first team, and we all know that. 3 of those games was played in fucking terrible weather. Vegas, Houston, and Philadelphia. So you are running the ball a lot, but you do have the wins. And
I still only give you the excuse for like one of those games. Everybody plays in bad weather.
You can't. Next time we get real bad wind, I want you to go throw a football in 40-mile-per-hour winds.
Well,
they said it was so bad they were running a 10-yard out and the ball was sailing into the fucking stands.
You're talking about like a pro-size football?
Yeah.
I don't know how far I could throw it now when there's no wind. But keep going. I'm sorry.
But I mean, am I wrong by saying the Browns are the real deal right now? They got to be. They got a big game coming up Monday against Baltimore. Lamar Jackson's back. That is not going to go how Week 1 went. I mean, the Browns they're playing way better than they was in Week 1. So I don't know if they're going to win it. I think they can win it. But yeah, man, it's good to be a Browns fan.
Well, and this is a question I asked you last night, and you said, "Man, I'm riding high. I don't know how to answer it." So you may still not, but I can't take. And I saw a stat too. 3 of Baker's touchdown throws, the receiver had at least 3 yards of separation on the defender, and that's not like to take away from Baker. Right. I mean, he's hitting throws he should make, but like that DPJ pass, like he just cooked that corner. I don't even know what happened there. So yeah, great game, biggest game of his career. That's another thing Cowherd was talking about. He said, "Hey man, this game made." He said the Browns will decide on the flight home whether or not they're going to keep Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
in his 3rd year or his 4th year, 5th year. And he did as good as you could ask him to do. So from a guy who was like almost like, I'm over Baker. I mean, there was even a point where you were like, Baker and a first for Josh Allen, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Right?
Well, I still would.
Might still
Baker
would do
for
that. Yeah,
Josh Allen's a stud.
But so, and I asked you guys this last night. I don't know if your answers changed, but I just wanted to put it on the mics here. If Baker shits the bed against the Steelers and the Ravens again after this Titans game, what's the perception for him amongst Browns fans? Because it's like, okay, well, they beat a good team, but they don't really have a good defense. So I feel like he's gonna have a chance to go do this coming up here on Monday Night Football against a good defense, and again against Pittsburgh whenever that game is. I think Week 17, which could be for the division. We'll have to see how that plays out. So if he had, and Austin said, well, it depends on context. Do we just lose or does Baker play like shit? I'm saying if Baker Mayfield plays like shit in one of those two games against a top defense, what's the feeling of him then? Because the feeling now is he can't do any wrong, like you said, and rightfully so. You're a Browns fan. He's your quarterback. He shut everybody up. He just got you the biggest win that your team's probably had in 10 years, and that's all well and good. I just want to know, where do we stand in a couple weeks if he puts up some stinkers?
Well, if he puts up a stinker Monday night, like obviously right now, like you said, he's coming off of his best performance in the biggest game that the Browns have had in years. I still don't know 100%. If they lose Monday night, that's something that we'll come in here on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'll be able to answer that. Like, where do you see him? But one thing that I want to hit on, and not to try and shy away from that question because I really don't know at this point. You and I and Austin went through a thing and we listed all 32 quarterbacks and we said, okay, where would we take Baker? Me, you, and Austin, if we're starting a franchise. So I don't want people to lose their mind on this. I know there's a lot of Browns haters out there. They've come out of the woodwork. We're not talking about the Breezes and the Bradys because you're going to take a quarterback that can play 10 more years over a quarterback that might be done after this year. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. You're starting a franchise.
Yeah, if we're starting a franchise, I believe me, you, and Austin all had him in the top 12. Obviously, best quarterbacks right now, I think we all had him in the top 15. So it's where do you find a top 15 quarterback at? Is he in the draft now? If something happens and it's Baker's fault that we lose a playoff game or he just shits the bed or whatever, the one scenario I keep going back to is, okay, if they want to move away from Baker, how about fucking Aaron Rodgers, who's maybe not going to be around,
He's got a first rounder behind him, and Aaron Rodgers is kind of a dick. I feel like he might be kind of wearing his welcome out with Matt LaFleur. So
even though that team looks great, but it's just we have to see. One game's not enough from Baker. Now, don't get me wrong, he fucking was amazing, amazing. I mean, since week 7, the third best quarterback in the league right now, and the Browns haven't had a great schedule. And like I said, a couple of those are bad weather games or whatnot, but 11 interceptions to 0, or I'm sorry, 11 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. I mean, you just can't hate on it. I mean, he's playing the game right now how it's supposed to be played from a quarterback, and he's not turning the ball over. And the Browns are winning games, man. They're 9-3 and have like the 4th best record in the NFL.
And it's just weird because I've seen I told you guys I have lived through this season that you're having as a Browns fan with the Bengals, because there was a time where we weren't so sure about Andy. Is he the guy? Is he not? Do we draft somebody? Do we not? Well, we're not finishing good enough to get a top guy, so what do we do? And that around then we were probably like, Andy's a 15 middle of the road quarterback. So, and there's more that comes with Baker because he was a number 1 overall pick. Dalton was an early 2nd round pick. We had said that before. It's just weird because like I've lived this before.
Yeah, but
I've been here.
The difference, the biggest difference between the two, because we have been on record to now I think Baker throws a ball Andy could never throw as far as arm strength and accuracy.
Andy's going to come back to Paul Brown Stadium Sunday and make every throw. Revenge game.
The biggest difference in those two is how long Andy was there. It's kind of like how...
Well, these conversations started with Dalton in year 2, 3 as well, because he was making the playoffs.
Not with me.
Oh, man, I remember.
No, dude, I used to shit on Dalton, but it wasn't until year 7, year 8 when I started shitting on Dalton.
You shit on that first playoff game. You were texting me. I remember I was at Bojangles.
Yeah, but it was his, but it was his first playoff game.
Yeah, it was his first
when
year.
you have Dalton and he loses first 2 or 3 playoffs in his first 2 or 3 years, he gets a pass. It's when you had him for fucking 10 years. And it's the same thing with Marvin Lewis. When you had him for 10 years, there's no change.
I feel like Dalton got shit on just as quickly as Baker's been getting shit on. I feel like he definitely did. Not just by you. I'm just saying by a lot of people. I think he was on trial just as much at this point in his career as Baker is now because he had been. I mean, he went to the playoffs 5 straight years.
But here's another difference with Dalton. He was making it to the playoffs, and you're going to agree with this. When the lights came on, when the primetime games came on, when he got in the playoffs, all of a sudden he couldn't throw a fucking football.
Yeah, but then Austin's like, well, what did the rest of the team do? Like when I said if Baker shits the bed, he said, what did the rest of the team do? Andy never got that pass. The defense would give up fucking 300 rushing. 300 rushing. So it's got to fall on Baker too.
No, yeah, but fuck yeah. So if you don't think the Browns go lose this game Monday night, Baker's not going to get the blame.
He should.
He's absolutely
unless he
get
has
the
a
blame.
good game and they still lose somehow. But it's not going to happen.
Or something happens on special teams or something stupid
like
that. But
that's typically not going to happen. If a guy like Baker plays good, they
win. They're going to win. The Browns are good enough now to where if the quarterback plays good, you're going to win the game.
And the biggest difference for the Browns that I've seen isn't anything crazy. Now the Browns beat the teams they're supposed to beat. They used to kind of find a way to lose to the teams that they should beat.
Yeah, exactly.
And now they just beat them, and then
they're like 6 or 7-0 in one possession games.
Yeah. God damn, that's better than Taylor.
But the biggest difference in the Browns is the coach of the year.
Obviously that is. I'm saying the biggest difference in the Browns' culture now is they're beating teams they should beat.
But the culture
Comes
changer
from him.
is
Yes.
fucking Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coach of the year. He's fucking. I'm so thankful for fucking Stefanski, dude. Like, and he doesn't get away from it. He realized it's a run, but he also realized that in this game, fuck, my quarterback's on fire. I just gotta let him keep ripping it. I mean, and Baker was doing it. But you're right. I mean, and ask me when we get in here next week if the Browns lose because of Baltimore, and I'll be able to then tell you how I'm feeling because right now I don't think we're losing that game. I don't think we're losing the game, period, but I don't think we're losing that game because of Baker.
I don't think you guys lose either. I think everybody hates on Baker. Dude, I don't even really mind Baker.
You never really hated on him.
I think those commercials are fucking hilarious. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says.
You're one of the rare Bengals fans that now
which is weird because he's always beat the shit out of us.
As far as you've ever gone is like, he's average. We got to start comparing him to Dalton,
that's still not ruled out.
Yeah.
To me,
that's
not even an insult. Really.
No, it's been different since OBJ though. Like he's better than he's a good quarterback when Odell's not there.
Odell's overrated as fuck.
I just think,
but
this might be it for Odell. I mean,
as an organization, it has to. You can't ignore it anymore.
Yeah. It's
his first year. He didn't have Odell. Damn good year. Rookie records, all that shit. Damn near made the playoffs, but he came in with a 2-game hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but then Odell comes the next year. I know that
Freddie's there.
Your wife said you almost put a hole in your ceiling jumping when the Odell trade went down, as you very rightfully should have been. But then he has the year that he had. And then he's having not so great of a year. Browns fans are wondering if they want him around. Odell gets hurt. He starts setting shit on fire. The organization has to be like, all right, maybe we can't get 2 firsts like we could have before, but give me 1 or give me just take him. I need my quarterback. Just take him.
And even though they're best friends, Jarvis Landry has to be thinking like, fuck, dude. When Odell's not here, I fucking ball.
Yeah, and it's not even like it's necessarily Baker's fault. If I was a quarterback
and
I had an Odell Beckham
out
there, I'm like, well, shit, I can just put it in the area.
It's weird,
and he
man.
Might go
It's
and
weird.
get
It's
it.
weird. But I was listening. I forget who was talking about it, and they said, it's different because Baker knows when you got Kadero Hodge out there, and you got Rashard Higgins, and you got Jarvis Landry, and you got Austin Hooper and Njoku and Harrison Bryant. Those guys aren't going to get mad if they have 1 catch for 2 yards and the Browns win the game.
No, they don't give a shit.
If the Browns lose the game and Odell Beckham has 1 catch for 2 yards,
it's a story.
It's a story. Or even if he's not making the story, somebody's going to make the story. Either way, the story's out there.
Well, he does little shit like taking his fucking cleats off before the game's
Right.
over. Like he does little shit. Sometimes it's not deserved, but a lot of times he does something like it's almost like he's trying to get him to do it.
We got to go back to what we agree with, that this isn't a hey Odell, it's your fault thing. This isn't a
No.
Hey Baker, that's your fault. You can't get the ball to Odell. This is just hey, it just doesn't work. Baker don't need big time receivers. He needs.
Stefanski doesn't need big time receivers.
No. You
he's
run
had
the ball.
feeling,
You run the
but-
ball.
Yeah, but he doesn't need big time
you want
receivers.
people that can catch the ball. It's like Kadero Hodge and I mean fucking Hollywood Higgins had like 100 yards and a touchdown. I mean it's crazy. I mean it's just crazy.
But I mean they'll still get good. They can still get good trade value for Odell anyway, and do it. And yeah, it's just it doesn't work. Not your fault. Not his fault. It's just not working. Sorry. So. Maybe go somewhere. I still don't think Odell was ever all that happy about getting traded to Cleveland anyway.
I don't know. I mean, there has to be. You can tell he's seeking some attention on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because the Browns are 9-3 and Baker's balling without him. So he's saying he's posting a lot of recovery videos and shit like that, and you can see that. And even from the fan base, I'm getting the impression they're kind of like I am. It's like. You don't really need Odell. How about we trade Odell and get a fucking corner or, a safety or something?
Yeah, help that defense out because the defense does need some help.
And the biggest thing with fucking with Coach Stefanski, man, is dude, they're winning games without Myles Garrett. They're winning games without fucking Denzel. Like Denzel Ward didn't play Sunday. He wasn't. You know what I mean? Like that's just good coaching.
Yeah, good. I mean,
coach, man.
Good coaches win games and that's why I don't buy the injury excuse for Zach Taylor anymore. He's had 2 years. All right, like they find a way to win the game.
Well,
you find a way to win the game.
Not to stomp on you while you're down, but
No, I'm not down. I know what it is.
But I mean,
stomp on it.
Stefanski, what I said, 6 or 7-0 in one possession games just this year, and fucking Zach Taylor's like 1-12-1.
Zach Taylor's never won a road game.
Yeah, see, that's crazy, man.
The best he's got is that tie in Philly this year. He has never won. The Bengals have won twice in the almost 2 full seasons, they've won 4 times in the almost 2 full seasons that Zach Taylor's been the head coach, but never on the road.
I will say, man, Twitter, Facebook was fucking fun on Sunday. They didn't have nothing to say.
I'm ready to retire from all that shit because people are fucking ignorant.
People
are fucking dumb.
That's because that's what.
They have plenty to say.
Because
I mean,
it's the same fans talking to you.
Well, I don't know, man. It's just, and I don't buy like the narrative of Bengals fans are like, well, the Browns are going to be one and done anyway. It's like, dude, I don't care.
Right.
If you told me the Bengals could go to the playoffs and
Right.
be 9-3 right now, and they're probably going to be one and done, sure. The Giants were supposed to be one and done
What are they gonna
twice,
do?
and they got 2 rings.
Hey, let me
Pittsburgh was supposed to be 1 and done in 2005. They beat the Bengals. They got a ring. Give me the fucking chance.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just say this. We know Pittsburgh is going to be 1 or 2. We know the Chiefs are going to be the other 1 or 2. Buffalo, the way they're playing, are going to be the 3 seed. So the 4th seed is either going to be Indianapolis, who the Browns already beat, or Tennessee, who the Browns already beat. So what is the one and done? So sure about this one and done talk?
Well, I made that argument on your Facebook post yesterday because somebody said I wasn't going to put his name on wax. It ain't going to be all that, but he probably wouldn't care if I did. But I said, look, man, you think they're going to be one and done, but chances are, if the playoffs started today, they'd play the Colts, who they beat.
Yeah.
Or if it changes a little bit, they could play the Titans, who they just beat. But either way, man, I would never be like, oh, well, we're going to go one and done anyway, so we might as well just lose for draft position. Fuck that. Put me in the game and give me a chance.
I think Nick Wright said it the best because
he's a fucking clown, though. I don't know what he said,
but
he's
he's been the only one that's been like, hey, wait, the Browns are winning the games while like fucking Brandon Marshall and 2 other jackasses were saying it, and they tried to get him to say, hey, are the Browns Super Bowl contenders? And he had the perfect answer. The Browns are not Super Bowl contenders in the AFC. I'm not sure anyone outside of the Chiefs are Super Bowl contenders in the AFC. If you put the Browns in the NFC, I'm going to say it. The Browns are Super Bowl contenders. You look at the better teams there. I'm not sure Seattle's for real. They just lost to the Giants, and their defense is bad. The Browns would run all over them. Same thing with the Packers, who just about lost to who the fuck did they just play this week?
I can't remember, but it was like somebody they shouldn't have lost to.
Yeah,
And Rodgers got his 400th touchdown pass. I remember that. I can't think of who they played.
But either way, they can't stop the run. They can't stop the run. I think the Saints are the best team in the NFC, but they always never. There's something that happens to them come playoff time that they don't show up.
I don't buy really anybody in the.
That's why I'm saying the Browns would be Super Bowl contenders in the NFC.
I don't think that's too crazy to say.
No, I don't think it's crazy at all. Now, I'm on record for saying this too. I think there's a 99.9% chance that the Chiefs win the whole fucking thing.
Until somebody gets as fast as Tyreek Hill and complete
it ain't even that, dude. You can't even blitz Pat Mahomes because he fucking backpedals 10 yards off his back foot and throws it 60 fucking yards right into somebody's ways. It's like you can't, you just can't do it.
And
but I will go on record and say if I think there's a team that I think could knock off the Chiefs. I think it's a team like the Titans or the Browns who's going to run. And I still say the Titans. I'm not like the Bengals fans now saying the Titans aren't a good football team. The Titans are a very good football team, and they're built for the cold weather. And when you go to Tennessee, you're going to have to play in the cold weather. You still have fucking that big ass fucking running back you're going to have to tackle. Now their defense is suspect. They can't get after the passer.
The Browns have a much better chance to advance in the playoffs than the Titans do. I will go on record.
You got to run the ball. You got to keep them off the field. You
have to have a pass rush in the playoffs too.
Yeah, you're gonna.
The Browns have it, and the Titans don't.
But I just think those are the two teams that can run it. I don't think anybody's beating them. I think if the Browns play the Chiefs right now, the Chiefs would wax them.
No, I get what you're saying. You don't think the Browns will beat the Chiefs, but you're saying if anybody's going to, they may have a recipe that maybe possibly could.
You haven't seen that yet.
Way.
You haven't seen a team run on them this year. You don't know what it's going to be like to keep Pat Mahomes off the field. You know what I mean? I definitely don't think it's fucking Pittsburgh. Can we go there for a minute?
Look, man. So I've said on Facebook posts and all this shit, if I was the Bengal fan, I would take the 9-3 record that's questionable right now, no matter what. Pittsburgh's been getting a lot of questions. Are they the most overrated undefeated team ever? Blah, blah, blah. Now, I have a deep-rooted hatred in my heart for Pittsburgh. But I don't want to say that like they're the most overrated team that was undefeated ever because they were still undefeated. But I was not at all shocked by the outcome last night. And Austin called it.
Yeah,
Austin, our buddy Austin, called it.
He said because of Washington's defensive line.
But Chase Young's coming along. Pittsburgh has no running game, and they can't run the ball.
They can't run the ball.
And Ben has like the lowest air yardage per completion in the league now.
And I will say this. I don't think Ben's playing bad. But
I just think they're taking shorter shit.
Well, when you're getting fucking 10, 11 balls dropped.
Yeah, that has been.
I mean, there's been a lot of fucking drop especially between Ebron and Deontay Johnson. I'm not going to count Pittsburgh out because it's Pittsburgh. I think that they did. Obviously, you do like to see them lose, but I think they needed the loss. I still think they lose Sunday night against Buffalo. I think Buffalo puts it on them. Like you said, they can't run the football. Injuries are starting to pile up. So you had Devin Bush, who was the middle piece to that defense, go out. Then you had Bud Dupree go out, and then I'm not sure of the guy's name, but he is Devin Bush's backup. He had a leg injury yesterday. He says he's not out for the season, but he is going to miss some time.
41 Spillane or Spillane or something like that.
I've never really heard of him. So the defense and Joe Hayden went out with a concussion. So I look for Buffalo to light it up on Sunday night, man. I just
you called that even before this game.
Yeah. I think that they're playing bad December ball, which isn't good.
It's never good to start playing worse.
I'm not going to count them out, though. I just can't.
No, you can't. I mean,
I can't.
Tomlin's growing on me as a coach. I used to really not think he was all that great until the 8-8 year that he dealt with last year with all those quarterback injuries and shit. And Roethlisberger's Roethlisberger. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to write him off, but I'm not going to make them a shoe-in to play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship either, especially on the fact that there's only one first-round bye.
Dude, listen, I was talking to a buddy of ours about the Titans, and I told him, I said, mark it down. I said, unless Pittsburgh gets the first seed, I said both Pittsburgh and the Seattle Seahawks, neither one will see the AFC Championship.
I don't think that's I don't.
Oh, I'm
think
sorry.
that's
Well,
crazy
the
at all.
AFC or NFC championship.
Right. the
Seattle,
conference championship.
Seattle, they don't look good. The NFC is just weaker, a lot weaker in my opinion. And then Pittsburgh, they're better than Seattle. I think they would beat Seattle, just defensive loan.
Fuck T.J. Watt.
But they're not. I don't think they're even as good as Buffalo. I think Buffalo's the real deal.
I think they are too. Yeah, I mean, nobody, like I said, nobody in the AFC or the NFC, excuse me, really sells me. But I mean, the Chiefs are winning the Super Bowl. Like it just is what it is.
Well, that 0.01% is Pat Mahomes getting injured.
Yeah, like barring an injury to Mahomes. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't buy Pittsburgh as a title contender, but I don't want to be like the bitter Bengals fan that's just shitting on them because they lost to Washington.
Right now, they're not a contender.
But I don't see it. And a coward.
Well,
another coward, man.
I'm not going to say contender because the Browns are a contender. They're a contender, but I don't think that they're going to beat the Chiefs or the Bills.
And that's another coward one. We've shouted him out a few times. Man, that video where he's smoking a cigar, he's like, Pittsburgh, Cleveland's better than you. Buffalo's better than you. He's shitting on them. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sold on Pittsburgh by any means. Nobody's going to come out of the AFC if his name's not Pat Mahomes. If Pat Mahomes goes down, I don't even know who their backup is.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
They should have kept Shea Patterson.
It's going to be tough to beat Mahomes until that contract kicks in and they can't keep everybody else under contract.
I would tend to agree. Real quick here before we get out of here, I want to shout out our pick'em winner this week, Brandon Cowden, the first repeat winner.
Really?
He won the $470 pot this week. It doesn't even matter how the game goes tonight because he's already got a 2-game lead.
Okay.
So he's already won. If you want to get your picks in, it'll be probably tomorrow. That the picks are open, and we'll have the Thursday deadline again, so it'll be a little bit tight, but we'll get everybody in there. So thanks to everybody for that. But yeah, the first back-to-back winner. He's taking home like over $800 off this shit.
It's crazy. People don't want to get in this, man.
I know. Just $10.
$10 ain't shit.
If it's right, you fucking win it all. It's crazy. So we're getting closer to get back to that 500 mark, man. I'm dying to get us to that 500 mark again. We only did it once, and my girlfriend once, and now I'm afraid people think I rigged it. But if you're first now hearing about it, Sunday at 1:00, the picks lock. You can see the games that everybody picked. Nothing can be changed. So it is a good way to win a little bit of money here, maybe before Christmas.
Yeah,
so,
be nice to get back in here also next week and talk about Andy Dalton's return to Paul Brown Stadium. And then,
hey, I'm looking at a Dalton jersey right now, hanging on the wall here in the locker room.
Yeah.
Do I take it down and maybe just wear it since I want him to lose and suck for Sewell? Do I maybe break this baby out of retirement?
I like that idea.
I didn't wear this for the last 5 years.
You don't have no beef with Andy. It was just time, right?
Yeah, it's just time, man. So maybe actually, I like to wear the same color jersey as the Bengals when they play. It's like a weird thing. And all of my black jerseys are like Joe Mixon and Jonah Williams and Joe Burrow, and everybody's hurt and not playing.
Hey, by the way,
so
the Jonah Williams injury that looked bad. What's the word?
They haven't gave anything for sure on
so
it
can't
yet.
Be nothing super serious.
I guess you wouldn't think, but I actually went and looked at that today. Ben Baby's a Bengals reporter that I like. I checked his Twitter. He said they expect an update on that on Wednesday. So
okay.
I guess we'll have to see what's up with that.
So
but it didn't look good.
No, it didn't. Andy Dalton back to Paul Brown, and then the Browns host the Ravens Monday Night Football. So some good entertaining football here.
Yeah, I wonder.
And then I'm super excited for Pittsburgh and Buffalo. I want to see how that game goes.
Yeah, that's going to be good. And my trip, I'm leaving Thursday for Florida. That was supposed to be to go watch this game with my dad. Now I guess I'm just going to Florida. But we'll watch football, and I guess I'll just go watch all the shit that I could have watched. I don't know. It's a good excuse to get away from Mike DeWine, though.
Yeah.
All right, so we will be back in here next week. Maybe Baker is the next greatest thing, or maybe Baker is shitty again. We'll have to see. But I promise you that when we are in here next week, the Bengals will still be shitty. So thank you guys for tuning in. Ohio State fans, you're dumb as shit, but I appreciate it.
Get that
if you listen to this
6-game
whole
bucks.
thing. Give me Ohio State versus UC. That'd be fun to watch Saturday. We will be back in here next week. Thank you all for tuning in. Locker Room Talk Uncut.